We have back here on the Rich Eisen Show one of our favorite guests, head coach of the Indianapolis Colts, back here on the program, Frank Reich. How are you, Coach?
Rich, how you doing? Good to be with you.
Good to be with you as well. I hope you don't mind. In solidarity with you, I just want to let you know in advance, this interview will last anywhere between 5 to 12 minutes long. You be fine with that, Coach?
Yes, sir. I'm totally fine with that.
No, I want the 12. I want you to know I want the 12. I know you want the 5. So I understand that. I understand in advance. I just wanted to walk through the door. So how is your quarterback and outstanding, stellar, potential first ballot Hall of Fame offensive guard? How are those guys right now, Coach?
Yeah, I appreciate you asking, Rich. They're doing well. I mean, everything from the day of the surgery until now, a little over 2 weeks later, has gone exactly the way we wanted it to go. So it's all been best case scenario. They're making good progress. We're not at the point where we have not challenged them, so to speak, too hard in the rehab process. So those days are shortly ahead.
Okay, so obviously you don't have the proverbial crystal ball, which is one of my favorite coaching cliches, so I appreciate you not going in that direction. But Wentz, when you talk with him, how are his spirits, man? I mean, because this guy, as you know, has been there and done that with having an injury happen and prevent him from taking an opportunity that he's been preparing for all the time. What's your conversation with him been like, Coach, throughout all this?
Yeah, his mindset is what you think it would be. Like he is on a mission. He is a man on a mission, to get back and get healthy and to help, our team win games. I think he's really embraced this change, this transition in his life. I think it has suited him well. I think this team, this city, it's just a good fit. And I think, as I've mentioned before, maybe we've even talked about, it's all okay. I mean, he had a great time and a really good run and some special things in Philly. And, now it's time for the change. And so we're really excited to have him. I think he's doing exceedingly well. I think his mindset is he's going to be back sooner rather than later. But unfortunately, we don't know that until we actually get out on the field and start to get to the point where we can test it and see how it's going to respond.
When do you think that can happen? Do you think that can happen before week 1? Coach?
I think we're going to, I do think what will happen. I do think the testing of it is going to be an ongoing process, like anyone would expect. We'll go out there and in any rehab process, you challenge yourself a little bit more every day. So part of that will start to be field work. Things have been more in the training room and that kind of thing, and now slowly field work will come into play. Doing a few things on the field, moving around on the field, throwing on the field at some level. And as you know, there's a lot of, we could stand here and play catch 10 yards apart, with a cast on your foot. So that doesn't tell you anything. It just tells you that we have to push it and see how it responds as we go.
And in terms of, the backup plan, because again, I made reference to it in the 5 to 12 weeks that, we heard that would be a time frame as to when Wentz might return or how long he might be out. The tested or inexperienced nature of the backups that you have there. What has been the backup plan for you? Just trying to get the kids and youngsters grown up fast, or looking outside the organization in any way that you can share with me?
Yeah, right now all of our focus and efforts have been internal, and we're pleased with the progress. One of the reasons we feel like we can do that is, we felt good about both these guys when we drafted them. We feel like we have a good team surrounding them, so we don't need someone to come in and be a superstar. Sure, you always want the best player available, but we're on a, there's a way we're doing things here and a way we're trying to build and grow this team. And, we feel like the two guys we have in-house right now are making good progress and proving themselves, worthy of that, to be in that, to be as the top two considerations, right? I mean, so there's been no external conversations at this point.
You haven't spoken to a certain high school coach down in Alabama that was your starter last year? Coach, have you spoken to Philip?
Yeah, I actually have spoke to him one time. Who is one of my all-time favorites.
Sure.
And, he's a special guy. So, but I keep in touch with him all the time, regardless.
Frank Reich here on the Rich Eisen Show. What about Big Q? Where does he stand for you, Quenton Nelson?
Same place Carson does. He's doing great. Obviously, they play two different positions, so what they do to field test it will look a little bit different, but the process will be the same.
And in terms of, head coaches in the NFL, obviously, everybody who's I've met wants to control everything. Control freak is definitely the words that I use. Who was the one who explained to you that it's a 5 to 12 week time frame and walk you through that process, Coach?
Yeah, I appreciate that being stated like that. Basically, obviously as a team, we naturally don't want to overpromise and underdeliver. We
Sure.
naturally want to be vague. We want to be vague in our answers. Everybody knows that. But that's the range that the two top guys in the country who have done thousands of these surgeries have had guys fall in that range. So it is what it is.
Right.
And there's need for us, right, to go into all the particulars of what makes a 12-week case or what makes a 5-week case. I'll continue to say, I've said around here, I don't mind saying, I think, and I hope we're much closer to the front end and the better end of this range. And with how the surgery went and talking to the doc after the surgery and what he saw in the surgery, very encouraged by talking to our trainers, very encouraged in talking to Carson and Quenton. So, we'll just continue to go down that road.
Frank Reich, Indianapolis head coach here on the Rich Eisen Show. What else makes you very encouraged? Who else has been flashing we're not talking about because we're so focused on the 5 to 12 weeks for your quarterback and your stellar offensive lineman?
Yeah.
Who are we not talking about? I'll give you the floor on that.
You can talk about a lot of guys, really, on offense. A lot of the buzz around here, as I'm sure you've heard, is our rookie receiver Mike Strawn. Big man who can elevate, who has really good hands, running very good routes. The game's not too big for him. He's looked really good. But our whole receiving core, right, in our first game, our young receiving core, they really all showed themselves, made a bunch of plays down the field, and obviously both Jacob Eason and Sam Ellinger, had good games. And as a whole, I thought our defense played very well in the first preseason game. A lot of good things. A lot of those young players stepped up and played good football.
How's my Michigan man, Kwity Paye? I've been trying to hold off on just going straight
back
for the Mason.
field. He's back. Yeah, he's back on the field. Unfortunately, he sprained that ankle. About a few days before this first game, but he's back on the practice field now. Happy to be there. And before he sprained his ankle, he was looking phenomenal. We feel really good about his development, his progress as a young player. Feel like he's going to make an early impact for us.
Well, and then just somebody who's in terms of impactful and a great story for those of us in the media to talk about, guys who are not very well known when they're drafted in the league and then they make the most of their opportunity and then get paid, is Darius Leonard. What can you give me a story about when you first were either introduced, exposed to his heart and style and what he brings to all of that on your behalf and the organization's behalf and between the lines in the locker room? I just would love a good Darius Leonard story from you. You don't have.
So I probably don't have one story, but to me, it's a very easy answer.
Okay.
And that is, it's the cumulative effect of how he is all the time. Like when you see him when he's mic'd up, like that's how he is all the time. I mean, it's never off. This guy is always on. He has got so much juice, and he brings so much energy to the practice field, to the meeting room, walking down the hall. He's just a great leader. He has a way of elevating whatever space he's occupying. If you're within striking distance, you're going to feel his energy. And what's not to like about that? Why? Who wouldn't love this guy? And then, oh yeah, by the way, he's one of the best defensive players in the NFL. He makes play. He can do everything. He can rush the passer. He turns the ball over. He can get interceptions, and then he's going to have 100 and some tackles every year. I mean, what a great draft pick by Chris Ballard. I can't say enough about Darius. So happy that we were able to get his contract done and get him extended. And, that was a big deal for us and for this city.
Does he remind you of anybody you played with or against in your day?
Oh,
Coach?
Man. I'm terrible at these questions.
Sorry to give it to you, but I'd love to know. I'm just curious.
Probably a combination of, but maybe nobody. I can safely say I've played with and coached a lot of guys who have a lot of juice and have a lot of energy. And I can say that Darius has more than anybody I know.
No kidding.
It's hands down. It's just hands down. Yeah.
No kidding.
I remember having a conversation. You were talking about Phillip Rivers earlier.
Yep.
And we were having a conversation this off season and just kind of reminiscing about last year. And that was one of Phillip Rivers' talking points. Like, man, I'm never going to forget that year. What a great team. What a great locker room. And him just talking about Darius and the first time he met Darius, and then just how he was. As I just was talking about, just always like that. Like just he was waiting to see him tone it down, and that moment never came. He doesn't know how to tone it down.
Well, I mean, neither does Phillip sometimes. He doesn't know how to tone it down.
That's why he appreciated it.
They have a connection on having an inability sometimes to tone it down. And speaking of toning it down, before I let you go. So much being talked about that play in your preseason game with Benny LeMay getting a flag for staring down for just a split second. One of the many people who are unable to tackle him, and this is a concern for fans, and a lot of players are a little pissed off, to be honest with you, because. Here's a kid who's trying to make your team, right? He's trying to also prove a point, and he might have lost it for a split nanosecond, but out comes the flag because there's a new emphasis on what the co-owner of the Giants, John Mara, who's been in the league a long time and is part of the competition, because he's sick of all the talking. And I wonder what you think of this and what you might have spoken to your team about after that, Coach Frank Reich.
Yeah, I mean. You're right. It was a nanosecond, but here's the thing. I mean, I really don't think it's that big of a deal. I actually think I'm kind of glad people are talking about it. I like when people talk about our team.
Okay.
But it's the preseason. It's a point of emphasis. So we know every year, those of us, and including the fans who we all watch football, we all love football in whatever form, preseason, regular season, postseason, and when the officials have a point of emphasis, and you even sniff that line in a preseason game, especially the first preseason game, they're going to throw the flag. And because it's a point of emphasis, and it's not a regular season, and they want to put the league on notice, put coaches and players on notice that, hey guys, we told you we're going to emphasize this. Hey, maybe this was kind of questionable, maybe it wasn't, but we just want to make a point here. I kind of get that. Do I agree with the call? It doesn't even matter whether I agree with the call or not, but I kind of get what they do. I've just seen it done for many years, especially in the first preseason game. It's going to happen.
No, exactly right. I was talking about that the other day, but do you then make it a point of emphasis to say exactly what you said to your team, to say, hey, that's what that was in preseason week one. Let's make sure week one, when it all matters in the win-loss record for now an 18-week, 17-game regular season game, that we don't do that, right? Or no?
No, I do. And without, like you said, so here's what I'll tell you. This is one of those things I can tell you exactly what I said to the team.
Please.
Hey, guys, we know this is a point of emphasis. Hey, how we do things here, we don't want to taunt. We don't need to taunt. We're not that kind. That's not how we do things. The way we do things is all this juice and energy we have, we're directing towards our teammates and to the success that we're having. And, we don't need to taunt. Now, I wasn't saying that against Benny, because I thought it was fine. But in general, hey, this is a point of emphasis. Let's not let this We don't want a 15-yard penalty. We all know that. Let's celebrate. I want to appropriately celebrate each other and each other's success as a team. But the talk around the league, and I agree with this, I really don't think there's room for taunting. I don't want taunting. I don't like taunting. I mean, I love the fire of competition. I want to dominate the opponent. I mean, I want to dominate the opponent in every way, physically, mentally, on the scoreboard. I want to embarrass them. We want to destroy the opponent. We want to shut every opponent out. We want to score 50 and have them not score any. But we don't have to taunt. That's a bad. Taunting is, as some people would say, it doesn't look good on anybody. It's not a good look. It's not a good thing for young kids to see. I just don't think that's what this game is about.
Coach, I got to be honest with you. After hearing that, you make me want to go hit somebody. I like
Let's
that.
go.
I mean, I'm all fired up. Like this is great, and you're ready for week 1 right now. I bet, right? Like, and I'm excited for you and your team. You know, I'm a big fan of Jonathan Taylor's too. So good luck. And right? It's you don't have to have that conversation with him. I bet. You know, I mean, he's ready to go.
Yeah.
That guy. I love it. I say his name and you go, oh man, that's terrific. That's how you feel about him too, huh?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
That is. Yeah.
Coach,
he's a special player, special person.
Thanks for the time. Appreciate it. Good luck. Look forward to seeing your team out there in week number 1 and beyond. And let's just keep connecting. Always enjoy our chats. Thank you.
Thanks, Rich.
You got it. That's Frank Reich, head coach of the Indianapolis Colts. Hey, you watched all the way to the end. Thanks for that. Watch more right here.